So, I don't know where to start because I don't have any notes today, and I don't usually do that. It's not like I haven't been thinking about this episode, but the thing is I've been procrastinating doing this episode because how can you put something that you can't put into words, you know? So I'm really happy that you're here because usually I feel pretty exposed, you know? It's kind of like coming in here and being like a raw wound, and I'm just like pouring salt on it. I'm like going through it and digging into it and being like, you know, where was I wrong? Like what did I do? How did I get here? And I've done that so many times that it's kind of like I'm like tired, you know? It's been like a year and some change of doing this, and I'm just like, I'm tired of being like the sad girl. I'm tired of like always just talking about everything bad that's ever happened to me, and I'm happy that a lot of people feel like they can connect to it and that it resonates with them, and that it makes them feel something, you know, something like you're connected to me, you understand something, you feel like you made a friend, you know, you feel like you know me. Like I love that so much, but it's it doesn't go without saying that sometimes this is not easy or fun or cool, you know. And maybe I think that if you like follow me on Instagram, I have like a pretty big ego, you know, where I'm like, yeah, I'm a bad bitch, right?
Boss bitch.
Yeah. Well, I didn't even want to come today, and then what did you say to me in the car? It's just like we do.
This is what badasses do.
Yeah, it's like there's a pandemic, there's a virus. Like I was scared to leave my house a little bit. I've been making fun of it like online, but today a friend of mine told me that the roads were going to close, and my roommate came home and packed up all her shit and like disappeared, and I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? You know, I'm not immune to like that fear and that like swelling of energy that it comes around all of us when like something happens, you know, to everyone. So I guess it's like, this is the perfect day to do this episode, but also, I mean, fuck, I'm tired. I've also been like doing a lot of drugs and having a lot of weird sex lately. So tired all around in so many ways. I'm fine. Everything's great.
Sounds lucky.
Yeah. I mean, this hoe is out there, you know? But so it's funny because I'm not gonna like harp on you about this, but you don't listen to my podcast because it like hurts you, you know?
I listen. I just binge it, and then at the same time, I'm stuck there, eyes, you know, swollen after crying. That anybody could go through all that and still be such a bright ray of sunshine.
Well, it's like weird though, because you like know me, you know, so you like listen, but then also it's like you've been there, you've like known me. I mean, like you were a fundamental part of one of the most recent episodes when I talked about, you know, what happened in your bathroom in Florida. And
Right.
it's just like, I'm sorry, I love you. I'm sorry about this episode. I mean, like this is probably like my favorite thing to talk about too, which is weird, like talking about death, talking about dying, like what was it like to die, you know, but also like, I'm sorry, you know, like, I'm sorry I did that to everyone. I'm sorry about how bad me jumping off a building made everyone who loved me feel, you know? So even though I'm talking about it and I'm going to say a lot of beautiful things about how this was the most transcendent experience of my entire life, but also like, I'm sorry, you know?
Well, I think it's, you know, it is what it is because, you know, it's about you and it's about our individual healing process, you know? And, maybe you reached out to people and they weren't there and they weren't going to understand. So at this point, I'm selfishly just glad you're here. And I understand because, you know, shit gets tough. So I just want you to be able to pour it out. And, you know, I know there'll be other people who get healed from it.
Yeah, if I like cry this whole time, it's like, is that okay?
I'm going to try not to cry as well.
Okay. So, I mean, I remember everything, you know, and I don't want to forget, but it's almost sometimes the memory of dying feels more real than like my real life does. So it's like that feels so real. And then this sometimes feels unreal. You know, everything that's happening right now, even like in the news, the media, that all feels unreal and less real than actually jumping off of a building and then having like a DMT death trip. And what's really interesting about you know, the fact that I jumped off a building and died for 19 seconds is that I did so much DMT in college and like after college. You were there. and
I was.
Yeah, it was just like it was something that I dove into because I loved it. And as soon as I found it and like learned about it and understood what it was or what it could be or what people said it was like, I was just so curious. I wanted to dive in. I wanted to dive in like I wanted to dive off of that building, you know? And it's also funny that there's like that common trope where they talk about, people who like take too much acid or who like take too many hallucinogenic drugs, and then they think they're a bird and they can fly and they jump off a building, And a couple of people have even asked me that. They were like, "Oh, were you high on acid and thought you could fly, then jumped?" It's like, no. I knew I couldn't fly.
Right.
I wanted to fall. I wanted to like explode. But yeah, so you guys just heard everything about the day of, and those memories are really spotty, and it's weird to go from kind of like a blackout experience to, the most real I've ever felt. And that whole fall, that whole like, I don't know, 7 seconds that it took for me to fall, 56 feet, was an eternity, and not all eternities are like the same size, but that was an eternity right there. And then I died, and I spent like an eternity in that 19 seconds of like death. And I guess I'll just start with saying that if you smoke DMT and if you die, it's the same. It's the same.
Wow.
It's the same place. It's the same, do I call them people? The same entities, the same beings, the same feelings that you feel when you smoke DMT, where you're just like, oh, everything is made out of love and understanding. And like our molecules are like infinite, like holes into other dimensions. And you're kind of like, whoa, I didn't know that. And you smoke DMT and you're like, wait, what? And then you come back to reality and you're like, wait, what is real? And so when I fell and when I died, I went to that place that was more real and that was eternity. And it was immediate, it was just this knowing. And no one like walked up to me and was like, hey, you're dead now, but I was like, oh, I'm dead now. And what is so strange and interesting to me is that I was still myself, I wasn't in my body anymore. Just like when you smoke deems, you're very much like removed from your physical form, but it is like real around you. All of the matter around you changes, but it does feel like insanely vivid. That is, how often can I say that it was the same? It was the same. It was the same. What did it feel like? I mean, okay, there are no words. There are no words for what that felt like. But if the closest that I can come to describing it is, it was like laying on a cloud at sunset on a beach. It was really warm. Everything was kind of like soft and pink. And even though I didn't have a body, it just felt incredibly soft. Everything around me felt really, really soft. I wish there was a better word. I wish there was like a deeper word for softness, for turning into essentially what I can only describe as like jelly, a soft jelly on a beach. And a couple of times, and I know that it's somewhat varies for everyone, that most people have like a pretty ubiquitous like DMT experience, but you like meet these entities that sort of like guide you, and that you can, ask questions, that you can get information from, that you can like share thoughts and feelings and understanding. And so there are like these two people that I met, quite a few times, like over the course of my like DMT life trips, and they were there. And it was this woman, and she was in this huge like ornate like costume. She kind of looked like Queen Amidala. Like that's the closest I can describe what she sort of represented in physical form. She looked like Queen Amidala. She had like weird lipstick and like a crazy headdress and a big outfit that like spanned twice the size of what her actual like body was. And then standing next to her was this guy in like a suit. He was bald and had like a zip up jumpsuit on, and I'd seen him quite a few times in my trip while I was alive. And then it was like both of them, and they were there, and we're like on this beach, and I'm jelly, and we didn't talk. We don't usually talk. I don't know if we like speak the same language, but there's like a communication that happens that's telepathic, but just like this instinctual knowing of what they're trying to like communicate to me. So all of a sudden I know, okay, I'm dead. I know everyone I ever loved and like felt close to was okay. I knew that like that I was okay. I felt like this really, really interesting and like profound sense of peace, which I don't think I'd ever felt in my entire life. Not once have I ever felt like that calm. And I smoke a lot of weed, so like I'm pretty chill most of the time.
You are.
But I've never been like that okay before. And that was really weird. I was like, oh wow, I'm like, I liked it. I really liked it. It fit like a glove. It felt like slipping into a warm bath. It felt like a warm hug on the inside, It felt like a heroin like fix, like that feeling of like opiates, of like buzzing in your entire body. And also this part is, it's like, it's hard because it's like, I'm gonna sound so crazy right now when I say the next thing, but so I was really aware of my soul, and because my soul was like separated from my physical form, and now I'm just like this jelly on a cloud on a beach at sunset, I also felt like every other life that I had ever led. And it was like I was flooded with all of these feelings and all of these memories and all of these experiences that weren't even mine, but they were mine. And so it was like I was me, but I was me times 100. And then I felt so old. I felt so old. And I was like it's still in my 20s, so, but I've never felt like, and I've always kind of felt old in my heart, but I really like, I like aged 100 years in, a millisecond. And then I had all these memories and all these experiences and all of these people. And I was just kind of like, not even remotely overwhelmed by it at the same time. So it was like, it's weird to think about it now, because now the thought of that is more overwhelming than the actual feeling itself when it was happening, when it was all like slipping into me, this like feeling of like peace and safety and like comfort, and then really like knowing myself, like finding myself, but like finding all of myself, every bad thing I ever did was still there, but I wasn't mad about it, and I didn't feel like upset, and every good experience that I ever had and every me that had ever had, it was like that was there too. So the idea that when you die and you become disconnected, that it ends, that this is it, or that you don't know what's next. That's not it. That's like the opposite of how it feels. When you die, you become yourself. You become every self you've ever had, and then you kind of like have this sense of you're going to do it again. You know what I mean? And that you're not done quite yet. So,
Wow.
Oh yeah, it's just a lot. And so going through all of these memories, going through all these experiences, all of these people, all of this, these lives, these other like lives that I had lived and been, I was kind of like, it just kind of like took a breath and like, awe, and I was like, oh, okay. And then, that it all settled in, and it had been, thousands of years. It had been hundreds of thousands of years. It had been a second, it had been one single solitary second, but it had also been a million years. And then my two guides, my people, my teachers, whatever, they were like, okay, are you ready? you know, no words,
Right.
no words, but you know, it was time. It was time, and it was like, okay, you got to go. Like, you got to go to what's next, or, and this is the part that I thought was really like, ooh, okay. They were like, or you can go back because you're not done. And you know, I had to take a beat and circle back. I was like, wait, what? And really still could feel so much of my life, of like this person, of like this girl, this like idiot, this this person who had just jumped off this building. I was still very much like thinking in her mind, in my mind. And I was like, I'm not done. Oh, I'm not done. Oh, fuck, I'm not done. Oh, God, it's like I did this and I wanted it and I'm here and I made it. And this is it. This is what I wanted. I've like been trying to kill myself since I was 10 and I did it. I fucking did it. And it was amazing and I loved it. And I won't do it again. But it's not like I don't feel like that sometimes. Like I woke up today, and honestly today, I woke up and I just thought like, I want to die. I want to die, I want to die, I want to die, I want to die. And I've been feeling that way for the last like 7 hours.
Well, I think it's something that a lot of people don't actually admit to feeling. I felt that way before, more recently than not. So, you know, that's why it's kind of, you know, I don't want anyone to commit suicide by all means. There's a disclaimer on this.
Me neither.
But, you know, the bravery that it takes to just take control of your life, it has to be commended, you know.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that's debatable, but
it's debatable.
but yeah, so it's like I did it. I completed the task at hand, and I don't really complete much. You know, I'm not good at like finishing things. So the fact that I finished that is like dope. But then sometimes I still don't feel finished. Sometimes I still feel lost. Someone told me last night that my podcast sucked. You know,
was I there?
No.
Okay,
you know,
good.
it was.
I would have been mine.
Yeah, it was fine. But I mean, like, it hurts my feelings, but like, it's fine. You know, like that may or may not be true sometimes. You know,
It's the bomb.
I mean,
I love it.
Okay, well, you know, I don't know, but in that moment, in that infinity, in that other realm, in that DMT death trip, in that, you know, 19 seconds that I bled out on the sidewalk and experienced that, I was like, oh, okay, you know, I felt that. I was like, I'm not done. Okay. All right, I guess if I'm not done, if you guys say I'm not done, you know, it's like, I trust you. I've seen you before. Like, I know you. You know me. You know every me that's ever existed. So, like, okay. All right, I'm not done. I guess I'll just go back. I'll go back. And then I decided not to die, even though I was already dead. And that's like, I mean, what'd you say the other day? It's like, you're alive. Like, none of this shit is real.
None of this shit's real.
Yeah. I mean, I feel that. I don't feel like there's anything about this that makes sense. And I don't blame you if you don't believe me, and I don't care if you don't care, you know, like, you'll find out. Well, I know you do. I'm just saying, like, the, you know, the unknowing you, the you that's listening right now, that's like, maybe you've been listening to me for a long time. Maybe we're like close. Maybe we've never met, you know, maybe we talked online. Maybe you've like written me a message, and, you know, maybe I wrote you back. I did actually. I write everyone back. But you know, maybe you can't like buy this. You know, how can you like feel the way that I feel about this? About how, you know, this isn't the end. That death is amazing. That like killing yourself is fine, but it also like, I mean, maybe don't. You know, maybe don't. Yeah, I mean, don't. But it's like, it's hard because I do understand how pulling that sensation is, how much it is to feel like you can't do this anymore.
I do too, and that's why there's been times that I've apologized to you for that, you know, interruption. But the reason why is because, you know, sometimes you can't do it. And I was never there, but since then I felt like ending my life and not wanting to be here. you know?
I would be so upset if you died.
But you'd be fine.
I know.
But that's the point. I know people would be upset.
Yeah.
You know, so I would have been devastated if you weren't here, and so I'm glad you're here. But this is why it's not over yet.
Yeah.
You know, because you have to tell your story, and you're doing that.
Ugh. I mean, does this even matter? You know, like I worry about that sometimes. Like, does any of this matter? Like, is this real? You know, is any of this real to anyone?
Healing is real.
I mean, am I healing? Do you think I'm doing a good job at that?
I do. I do.
Yeah.
You know,
I feel like a mess right now.
Well, we all feel like a mess right now.
Yeah.
You know, and that's legit the truth, you know?
I guess. Yeah. I don't know why I take it so hard.
I believe what you're saying because basically, you know, love is such a big, huge pull every time we are on this existence, right? And we equate so many things, twin flames, soulmates, all that crap. When in reality, the truth is that those are little experiences that we're actually here to keep on learning and learning and learning again and again and again. And I feel ancient. So for you to say that, it all adds up to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of crazy, too, that it adds up so well.
It's crazy that we've been friends for so long. It's crazy that we did mushrooms together for the first time.
You also...
we did
DMT.
Yeah.
First experience.
Yeah.
And it was crazy for me because I wasn't in mine for long, but where I was literally up in like another universe. I saw the stars. I saw up close and personal. I was like there floating, you know? And so it's one of those things where it's like, I need to delve deeper. And so this experience that you're talking about is pretty interesting to even hear about. So we've had a lot of firsts together.
Yeah.
You know, little Sid's been around the block. So, you know, you've helped me experience a lot of beautiful things in life and opened up my third eye in a lot of ways. So people can believe it or not. Doesn't really matter to me.
Yeah, that's true. It doesn't really matter.
No.
But so when I came back, though, when I was like intubated and I woke up on like an ER table and I had just been defibrillated and I had a tube down my throat and like 14 of my bones were broken and my lung was collapsed and my bladder had been punctured by my fucking pelvic bone, which had shattered into a million pieces. And in that moment, you know, I went from being jelly, you know, from being like perfect, from everything being the best it can ever be. And then I went from that to like back to my body, back to reality, back to pain, back to like life, which sucks. Life sucks. Death is awesome. Don't kill yourself.
Do not.
But so I went back and the first feeling that I had as like a human being again and not like this like jelly on a cloud, you know, that was like warm, it was cold. Everything was hard. I was in so much pain. I felt that pain like immediately. I felt it so hard. And my first thought was, oh, you made a mistake. Like legit, like the first thing I felt when I came back was like, oh, you fucked up, you know? And I felt that way a lot. I feel that way after almost every decision that I ever make. I fucked this guy last night. And like afterwards I was like, you fucked up. I was like, that was a mistake. Don't do that again. I might do it again. But I felt like, you know, that same like, oh, it's so human, you know? Your mistakes are just, they're like the best part about you, unfortunately. Thank you. Best part about you, like plot twist, you know? Sorry, just hitting this bowl. Don't mind me. You guys can hit one too. So then, you know, I went from like, I don't like this word, but I went from like heaven, you know, to, I mean, earth is like hell, especially right now, but like earth is like hell.
Right.
Literally. So I went from heaven to hell real quick, just as quick as I went in. And then I was in a lot of pain. And then I was like, oh, you made a mistake. And also this is like a weird thing that most people can't accept or like believe me, but immediately I had this sensation. I was like, oh, you're in the wrong dimension. Like you got dropped back into the wrong dimension. This isn't your life. This isn't your body. This isn't where you're supposed to be. This is wrong. This is all wrong. This is bad. And then as soon as that happened, they gave me a bunch of pain medicine. and I had to go into like emergency surgery to like, because I just like my heart just came back online.
Right.
And then they were like, all right, now we gotta, and then I was conscious, and then I went immediately unconscious, and I didn't wake up for like a week.
Too much pain.
Well, I don't remember any of it after that.
Mm-hmm.
And they did 3 surgeries right away, and then I would wake up. This is what they told me. This is like what my family told me, and like the doctors and stuff. I would keep waking up, and I would say, what happened? And then they'd tell me what happened. And then I would like pass out again. And then I would like wake up again, and I'd say, what happened? And I wouldn't remember anything. And so they thought I had like very severe brain damage because I just like could not like hold anything. And so I think about like a weekend is when I actually like woke up for the first time and like have a memory that I've held on to. That all of that is so foggy. All the surgeries, all the pain medicine. I was in the ICU. I didn't have any blood. I couldn't eat. I couldn't drink water. I couldn't go to the bathroom. Obviously, I couldn't move. But the next memory that I have is I'm being wheeled out of surgery. I was on a lot of pain medicine. There was a nurse, and she was leaning over my hospital bed, and she said, we've given you a lot of medicine right now, so if you start to trip out, it's totally normal. And as she's saying that, her face turned into one of those like Dia de Muerte, like sugar skulls, like her, like she had like the makeup on, and I was like, I just like smiled at her, and I was like, don't worry, I've done this before. And I was like, this is fine, like I'm not scared. And then that's when I started to like come back online. And like that was so weird, because I was not the same. And I could talk, and I was starting to like hold memories. I was still in a lot of pain. I was still in a lot of pain medicine. Still couldn't drink water. Still couldn't move or anything. I mean, I couldn't move for a long time, but like then especially, like couldn't move my fingers, couldn't move my toes, couldn't move my arms, couldn't really move my neck. I was just like locked down. And I didn't really feel much. It was just like this sort of echo of pain, and I just thought, what happened? Like I was still really confused because I was in my head very much wrapped up in where I had just been, and that I couldn't like wrap my mind around the fact that like I was back on Earth, I was back in this body. All this stuff had just happened, I didn't know where that guy was, I didn't know really like anything that was happening outside of that ICU room. I knew that my family was like fucked up. They were so mad. They were mad, and they were like scared because, it's not like I had been fine. I had been like a wild card that had been sort of like spiraling downward into disaster, into like someone who was about to jump off of a building. And there were a lot of signs. But I hid it really well. I hide it really well. I like can seem fine, for a long time. Even if you're close to me, I can seem pretty fine for a long time until one day, I'm just like, I'm the type of person that like snaps, I'm like so calm until I'm not. And then I'm like, well, it's fine. I'll just jump off a building. See you. And even that, I'm like calm about it until I'm just like, meh, peace out. Like, enjoy that video, fuck you. Yeah. Ugh, sorry.
I think we all are just like that,
Fine until we're not.
Exactly. Because we're all put so much pressure on ourselves, and, so just happy you're here now.
Yeah, I don't think I'll do it again, because what's the point of that now? Like I did it. It's like you don't have to fucking climb Mount Everest twice,
And chose to come back.
Yeah, I mean you can, but also people should stop climbing Mount Everest.
Leaving all their trash up there.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Exactly.
But yeah, so it's like my spiritual trash is like in the other realm. And smoking DMT now is weird too, It's not that I'm afraid of it, but I feel like so called to it, I feel so much at home there. I feel so many so many things, like I belong there, like I want to be there, that it's like weird. Like now when I do DMT, I'm almost like I want to die more, you know, because I'm like, oh, this is home. This is home. This is where I belong. This is where I'm going. So not that I won't do it. Don't get me wrong. I'll do it.
Okay, good.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
One more round.
No. I mean, I'll do a bunch more rounds, but it is something that that I take more seriously now. And I already took it pretty seriously. I was like, oh, Levy, that's how you get to God, you know? Mm-hmm. And God is you. God is you. God is inside of you.
And all the experiences we're learning.
Yeah. I'm really grateful that you were here for this today, because I was like,
I'm glad I could be here.
Yeah. I don't know if I have more to say about it. I mean, like I do, but I just don't have the words. But if you feel anything about this and you want to talk about it, you can find me. I'm very easy to get a hold of, you know, like I give people my phone number, I give them my email address, I give them my address sometimes, you know, like I'm not trying to not connect with people. I never want to get to a point where we're like not able to just talk as openly as this, and for people to feel like they know me so well and can tell me that the stuff that people like slide into my DMs and tell me, I mean, that does feel very special to me. But that, you know, like success is a lie, you know, and all the things that you think that you want, like none of that is real. But that feeling of like, that feeling of understanding, of being understood, of feeling like you're a part of something. I mean, that's love. That's God. That's all there is. That's what we're doing here. It's pretty chill. You guys should try it. Should tell your friends about this podcast. Even though that guy said it sucked. He's like, what are you going to do? Just like keep talking about your trauma? He's like, that's very narcissistic. And I think he said something like it wasn't helpful, you know? And I'm just like, that's okay. That's okay. You know?
It's okay until, you know, the reason why a lot of random people of that gender, you know, hurting people is because they bury their traumas so deep, and they think that they can't cry or have feelings, and then they get upset and want other people to repress their feelings, and that's never okay.
Yeah.
You know, so this is okay, and talking about it, you know, just people knowing that someone else felt the same way that they felt once before, and that person wasn't silenced, and they don't have to be silenced either, that is healing. So
we all want to be heard. We all want to be heard.
Exactly.
I want to hear you. I want to hear you guys. So reach out. I love you. You've got my info, right? I mean, you know how the internet works. Hey, bye. How long was that?